Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine landing a job where your starting salary translates to a jaw-dropping 6 to 7 crores in India. Yeah, crores. That's the actual reality for new hires at elite product companies like Netflix right now. But, how do you actually get there? What really happens to your resume once you hit that submit button? Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to pull back the curtain on the stark, honestly kind of misunderstood realities of the tech hiring machine.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be decoding the exact steps to navigate this complex job market by looking at the 97% rejection reality, the truth about college bias, the service company illusion, how to crack top tech interviews, and finally, how to prepare for the pressure.
Section 1. The 97% rejection reality. Let's look at that very first hurdle, just getting your foot in the door at these top product companies. The sheer volume of competition out there is staggering, and frankly, it's kind of hard to comprehend until you see the numbers. When an elite company like Netflix posts a single, yes, literally one global tech position on LinkedIn, they aren't getting a few hundred or even a few thousand hits. No way. They can receive up to 3 to 4 lakh applications. That's 300,000 to 400,000 applicants in just one single week for one position. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immediate fallout. Out of those hundreds of thousands of eager candidates, a staggering 97% are rejected outright. Bam! Done. They don't get a phone call, they don't get a coding test, their resumes are tossed right into the digital trash bin without a second glance. So, we have to ask, why are 97% of applicants rejected immediately? Is it some sadistic corporate pleasure? Are hiring managers just heartless? Actually, no. The blame doesn't lie with corporate cruelty at all. The brutal truth? The vast majority of applicants are directly sabotaging themselves. Here's what's happening. Most candidates use the exact same, completely generic, copied resume for every single job they apply to. You'll see a developer who mostly works in Java blindly applying for a highly specialized data science position, just crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. When companies have incredibly specific requirements, a generic resume fails the absolute most basic filter. If your resume doesn't instantly match the company's explicit needs, well, you're instantly part of that 97% rejection pile. Section 2. The truth about college bias. So, how do hiring managers actually filter the survivors? Let's be totally impartial here and look at the ruthless mathematical practicality from the perspective of a hiring manager at a place like LinkedIn. Look, hiring is wildly expensive and incredibly time-consuming. When a company recruits at a standard college, they might conduct, say, 10,000 interviews and still struggle to find a single hire that meets their elite bar. But when they visit a top-tier institute like an IIT, where students have already passed through massive, grueling societal filters just to get in, the company might do just 10 interviews and walk away with 2 stellar hires. It's not personal, it's purely about a higher return on investment. They're relying on pre-filtered talent pools just to save time and money. But hey, here is the good news. This practicality-driven bias, it's actually slowly changing. Thanks to huge advancements in tech, AI, and online assessments, machines can now conduct preliminary rounds way faster and more efficiently than human recruiters ever could. What this means is that companies can finally afford to cast a much wider net, giving totally fair chances to talented candidates from all institutes, not just the historically elite ones. It's a real game changer. Section 3. The service company illusion. Let's pivot a bit and talk about the mass recruiters out there. Companies like TCS, Wipro, and Infosys operate on a completely different business model than the product giants we were just talking about. When you join them, they essentially assume you have zero prior knowledge from day one. Yep, even if you literally just got a computer science degree. They mandate extensive training, often up to 6 months, before ever deploying you to a client. But here's the really fascinating part. They actively avoid interviewing the top academic performers. Seriously, they don't want the 9-pointer who is hyper-ambitious and will probably jump ship to a product company for a better package in a month. No, they purposefully target the 6-pointer candidates because they are seeking longevity and stability over raw, restless ambition. And we absolutely need to deconstruct a major myth here, the famous U.S. on-site deployment. People naturally think getting sent to the U.S. by a service company means living the lavish American dream in Silicon Valley, making upwards of $120,000 a year. The actual reality? These employees are frequently deployed to much smaller, remote villages or towns, making closer to $60,000 to $80,000. To save money and maybe build a house back home, they often live like misers, sharing tiny rooms, avoiding travel, and saving literally every single penny. It is a far, far cry from the glamorous life of a top-tier Google or Netflix engineer.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, cracking top tech interviews.
If you want that massive Silicon Valley salary, you've got to survive a seriously rigorous interview gauntlet. Now, unlike domain-specific companies that might need a Java expert on day one, elite tech giants like Amazon and Google are actually looking for generalists. They focus heavily on open problem solving. In fact, they'll usually let you code in the language of your choice during the interview. They honestly don't care if you're a Java developer today because they want to know if you can seamlessly adapt to Erlang tomorrow and C++ the day after as technology rapidly shifts. They want adaptable problem solvers.
So what does this grueling, month-long, 7-round process actually look like? Well, in your early career, like years 0 to 3, the focus is pretty much entirely on data structures and coding. If you're at LinkedIn, you better know your graphs inside and out because that's literally how their multi-level connection searches work. As you get more senior, it shifts heavily towards system design. This is where they throw totally unknown, hypothetical situations at you and ask you to scale a solution for billions of users. Then comes the deep dive into past work and culture fit, where their own developers will grill you on actual code just to see if they, actually enjoy working with you every day. And finally, the whole shebang culminates in the manager round.
And this brilliantly illustrates a strict concept companies like LinkedIn and Microsoft employ to maintain this elite standard. It's called the bar raiser. Basically, it's a hiring rule stating that every single new candidate brought on board absolutely must be better than at least 75% of the current team. Think about that. It ensures that with every single new hire, the overall talent pool of the company is constantly, relentlessly elevating.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Preparing for the Pressure.
Knowing all of this, how do you actually get ready? Well, there's this really powerful piece of advice from an IIT physics teacher regarding high-stakes exams. He simply said, turn off the fans in your room. The whole idea is to practice in a hot, sweaty, totally uncomfortable environment. Why? Because you need to simulate the absolute worst-case scenarios. What if the power cuts out during your exam? What if the stress is literally suffocating you? If you only practice in perfect air-conditioned comfort, you're going to crumble when those real-world variables hit.
So the crucial point is understanding the massive difference between practicing and performing. Solving a complex coding problem while lounging on your sofa, chilling with your brain operating at 200%, that's easy. But doing that exact same problem in the interview room, that's a different beast entirely. You have the intense fear of judgment. You're panicking over every single keystroke because a senior engineer from Amazon is staring right at your screen. A lifetime opportunity is on the line. The psychological weight of that is just massive.
Because of this intense pressure cooker environment, the hiring ratios at the very top are just insane. A company like Amazon might literally interview 500 people just to find that one single software developer who not only has the technical chops, but has truly mastered the art of performing flawlessly under immense, crushing pressure. And that is the reality of the tech hiring machine. It's mathematical, it's grueling, and it demands complete adaptability. Which leaves you with one critical question to answer before your next big interview. Are you just preparing in the comfort of your living room, or are you truly preparing for the pressure?